Hey guys, welcome back. So we've got something really cool for you today. We had a company reach out to us, a company called dieselrcorp. They are an exhaust system company, and they said, "Can you do a test fitment on this exhaust system on an L5P?" And I said, "Heck yeah. Let me walk you through this and show you what they gave me." Right out of the box. This is the downpipe that they sent. It is already pre-wrapped and pre-clamped. This is pretty good stuff. Now, this is a 409 stainless, and we'll get to the importance of the 409 stainless here in just a second, but we've got the downpipe, then 3.5, yes. We have a 5-inch system, but in order to fit comfortably between the block and the firewall, we can't go all the way up to a 5-inch without creating further problems. We don't want to worry about overheating your carpet inside, burning anything. So be moderately safe and provide excellent longevity without any problems. We went with the 3.5. So moving down, we do have the clamp, the band clamp for the downpipe to the first pipe, and that's going to create a very solid, tight junction. We're not going to have any exhaust leaks from there. And that's also where we transition up to the 5-inch. In the kit, we've got multiple clamps, hangers that are already mounted on the pipe, and we've got different intermediates depending on the configuration that we're going with. Now, this system is also getting the muffler. Let me show you that. Which is this bad boy. As you can see, she's going to provide us a decent amount of sound deadening than traditional systems that don't even have a muffler. So, but if you wanted to, this will fit long bed, this will fit short bed, this will fit straight piped, or this will fit with a muffler. It's a really good kit. I can't wait to actually get into the vehicle, get the exhaust tore off of that, and start installing this and show you what she looks like after all of this is installed on the truck. And we're going to do a couple test runs so that you can hear the difference. We'll give you a before, and then we'll give you an after. I think that's going to make a huge difference on what you guys think of the sound quality of the new exhaust, because you'll have a sound clip of the exhaust before we put this stuff on.
So Josh.
Yes.
4-inch versus 5-inch versus race pipe.
Okay. Always a big question that we've had. Do I run a 4-inch or do I run a 5-inch? We're going to talk about this in a couple different ways. First is going to be power. The difference in power is not going to be much when we're talking about a stock turbo and stock fueling, okay? You're not going to see a whole lot of power increase. In fact, it's going to be only so small measured on a dyno that you can't even feel it. The reason why people are going up to a 5-inch is because you get a lot more drone, you get a lot more throaty tone out of the exhaust. Plus, it leaves the end open to where when they do start playing around with their fueling and their boost. So now you can start running 50, 60, 70 pounds of boost, 200 over injectors, whatever, multiple CP3 pumps when you're getting into a race application. There's where you really need the 5-inch. So do you save the money now and just buy the 5-inch, or do you have to buy the 5-inch after you've already spent money on the 4-inch? Okay, so now we've also got the question of race pipe, which is maintaining the factory tailpipe, but it's more or less a straight pipe from the turbo to that so that it doesn't look like you have altered exhaust on your vehicle. Now, again, we're talking about increasing the volume and then decreasing it again. And having that choke point just before it goes over the axle is never a good idea on your system. Again, back to what if you want to modify your fueling and your boost to create a lot more power, or tuning as well. We don't want to forget tuning because, of course, tuning makes all the difference, especially when we're adding all the other stuff. So race pipe, no. If you're going to do it right. Get rid of everything from the turbo back and go with a 5-inch on there. Now we're going to talk about the difference between aluminized and stainless. Right, so this is a 409 stainless. It is not going to rust out. Now, why would we not just buy an aluminized pipe? Aluminized pipe by itself is really good. It's going to give the end user multiple years of quality pipe. It's not going to degrade near like just a plain steel pipe. The problem with aluminized pipe is where the hangers weld on. So on an aluminized pipe, wherever you weld the hanger on, it's going to take away the aluminization from the pipe and now create a point for it to rust. I have seen the pipes actually rust all the way off of the hanger, where you have the weld and the hanger separate from the pipe itself. And that's because the protective coating, the aluminized coating that goes over the pipe, gets burned off through the welding process. So again, don't waste your money. Buy the stainless steel the first time you do it. Buy the 5-inch, because we all know if you're playing around with your truck to this level, you're going to end up creating more power at some point. And you're going to need that exhaust system to breathe as efficiently as we can so that you can maximize your dollar when we're talking about power being made out of the vehicle. Don't choke it off. So there's the big thing. It's like every engine is an air compressor. In order to get your air compressor to work really well, you have to maximize the intake and you have to maximize the exhaust. If you don't, then you're going to choke it down and it's not going to perform near as well as you want it to. So we've already done the intake on this. We've got a Banks ram air on it. Now we're going to test fit one of these systems so that you know that when you do modify your vehicle and you put this exhaust system on, it's going to breathe as good as it ever will, period.
So here's an off the wall question. It's going to get some people a little rowdy in the comment section.
Yeah.
Which truck sounds the best with exhaust between the Cummins and the V8s?
I like the Cummins. I used to have a 1-ton diesel and I straight piped mine. And that thing, and I had more than one person always tell me they could hear me coming from a mile out because it sounded like an Apache helicopter. It's just extremely obnoxious, extremely loud, and in your face. You do get a couple different tones when we're talking about the V8. And those tones sound pretty cool, but they don't sound like a Cummins. I am more Cummins than I am Duramax. I do like the Duramaxes, but Cummins will always be in my heart. So I've got to give it to the Cummins. It's going to sound better no matter what, as long as you make that thing breathe well.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say between 4 and 5-inch, what people say is the 4-inch gives you more like a throaty, raspy sound.
It'll give you the cackle.
Yeah, okay.
The 5-inch will take the cackle away, but you end up with a deeper throat.
There it is.
And you'll end up with a much more pronounced drone when you're cruising down the highway. Which brings up another point. If you don't like that drone, but you want to run your 5-inch exhaust, I have an answer for you.
You always have the answer.
I do. So the guys over at MBRP sends me this. It is a 5-inch. It is a full through muffler. But take a look down that. Now, we're going to show you the difference between that one and this one.
There it is. Yeah, look at that. Oh, gosh.
Right.
Look at that. That's going to really drop down.
Yeah.
Drone.
So the truck that this one's going on is a 2011 1-ton, has a 5-inch exhaust on it, and it's pretty droney when he's cruising down the interstate.
He has this right now, this one.
He has this one on there right now, and we want to muffle down that throat a little bit, that tone, that drone. So we're going to switch over to this one and be able to bring it down to more of a reasonable level. When you're just cruising, you don't want to have that drone going off in your ear and just absolutely driving you bonkers, especially when you've got a 300-mile trip to go. Now, if you're just cruising around on the street and you're young and you're dumb and you're full of man juice, then you're going to want to run this little guy right here. And this one's going to give you a lot more of a throaty sound to it. People will hear you coming. Not the man juice style.
Yeah, that one is a lot bigger too, so you're definitely going to be quieting on that exhaust. Sure, you can definitely look at that. What is that? A foot?
24-inch.
Yeah.
24-inch versus a 16.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Big difference.
Oh, big difference.
So up pipes. I have some up pipes here. What are
Yep.
your thoughts on Oh, pipe.
Whenever you're going to alter a vehicle, we want to take away the parts that we know that are going to fail. So a lot of you are familiar with my bulletproofing program for a Cummins. If I was to put together a bulletproofing program for a Duramax, replacing the up pipes would definitely be on that list because the factory ones are prone to cracking and prone to leaking. So we got to get that factory crap off there and get something on there that is not going to just lunch out on you and create exhaust leaks, right? So yeah, again, if you're going to look at this from a longevity standpoint, get the known parts that fail off and get the parts that don't fail on there, so it gives you many, many years of dependable, reliable service. And then also with the VSE upgrades, you can't go wrong with that as well. And just all around, we're going to start putting together packages for the Duramaxes here pretty soon to complement the packages that we have with the Cummins. You guys have heard me talk about that until we're blue in the face. We're going to continue to talk about it until something actually gets done, because manufacturers, again, they all need to be held liable and responsible for putting out these junk products that they haven't putting out. It's forcing everybody in the industry to go to very extreme lengths to make their vehicles dependable again. This isn't 2002, 3, 4, 1998, whatever, where you could go down and buy a brand new truck and run that thing for 4, 5, 600,000 miles. They really specifically designed these trucks to fail at 100,000 miles so that you decide to go and buy a new one instead of fixing your old one back up, because they cost 100 grand. When you look at a Cummins engine, you're looking at $23,000. You're looking at a Duramax, you're looking at $25,000, $26,000. Who wants to spend that kind of money on a truck they're still making payments on? So they know that, and they're going to say, well, you can trade it in on this one over here. Then they're going to ding you the $23,000 it's going to cost to fix it on your trade-in value. So now you're upside down in the vehicle, what you owe plus an additional $23,000, $28,000, $30,000. They are intentionally designing this to fail against the customer. That's my thoughts on it.